All right, so PulseCereal. It's got a kitschy name, right? And you want to know if it's worth, well, biting into.
Definitely piqued my curiosity, especially with all this talk of meme coin with a purpose.
Yeah, that's what we're diving into today. We got our hands on what looks like their marketing material, and they're making some, shall we say, bold claims. It's like they're trying to be both a joke and a serious investment at the same time.
It's an interesting strategy for sure. We've seen this surge in popularity with meme coins, but then they're also trying to attract those investors who are looking for, well, more than just a quick laugh.
Exactly. So let's break down the basics. What is PulseCereal? From what we gather, it's a new cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah.
Cereal on the Pulsechain network.
Right.
And they're calling themselves a hyperdeflationary reflection token.
A mouthful
Yeah.
for sure.
A mouthful. Aiming to increase in value over time.
Ambitious.
Very ambitious.
It promises.
Big promises right out of the gate.
And to achieve that, they're using a few mechanisms we've seen in the crypto world before, but with, as you said, their own little twist. They're talking about this automatic redistribution of tokens to holders and a built-in burn mechanism.
Okay, so like setting fire to a big chunk of your cereal supply, that's the burn mechanism,
Yeah.
right? And they're claiming they torch 40% of the total cereal supply at launch. Is that supposed to magically make the remaining tokens more valuable?
Well, the idea is that by reducing the overall supply, you increase the scarcity, which theoretically, yes, increases the value of what's left. But it's not as simple as just setting things on fire, unfortunately. The real question is if this will create enough buzz, enough actual demand to drive up the price. Because a burn mechanism is only as effective as the trading volume it generates.
So it's not enough to just have a smaller pile of cereal. People actually have to want to eat it. Got it.
Then there's this whole reflection redistribution thing. Complicated name, but it boils down to getting a little bit of cereal just for holding on to it, right?
Essentially, yes. Every time someone buys or sells cereal, a small percentage of that transaction is redistributed to everyone holding the token.
Interesting.
Yeah, so think of it like earning interest, but on your cereal stash.
Just for being part of the club. Okay, I kind of get it, but is that actually a good thing? Potentially. It incentivizes people to hold on to the token for longer periods instead of what we often see with, say, meme coins that panic selling at the first sign of a dip.
Right, right.
And the longer people hold, theoretically, the more stable the price could become. But again, we need to look at the bigger picture. The overall market sentiment, is the project actually being developed further? You know, whether it generates enough interest to sustain this whole model.
It's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink the milk after it eats the cereal or something like that.
That's an interesting analogy. I think I understand what you're saying.
Okay, good. So we've got the burn mechanism, redistribution. But there's one more piece of this puzzle that they really highlight, and that's liquidity pool enhancement. What is that? Just a fancy marketing term for adding more milk to the bowl.
Not quite. Liquidity is crucial in cryptocurrency. It basically means how easily you can buy or sell a token without causing these drastic price swings.
Okay, so a bigger pool means smoother trading, kind of like having enough milk so your cereal doesn't turn into a soggy mess.
Precisely. With PulseCereal, every transaction contributes a small fee to this liquidity pool. So the idea is that over time, this grows the pool, making the token more attractive to traders who are looking for that stability.
But is it enough to make a difference? That seems to be the recurring theme here.
That's the question, isn't it, with a lot of these newer cryptocurrencies? I mean, do these mechanisms actually deliver the results they promise?
And in the case of PulseCereal, it's even more, well, interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to walk this line between, like, a meme coin and a serious investment.
Yeah.
On one hand, they're all about, fun, community, catchy slogans, which, let's be honest, is a big part of that meme coin appeal.
For sure.
But then they're also hitting us with all these features like design for long-term growth and stability. Can they really have it both ways?
It's a gamble, it really is.
Yeah.
Because meme coins, they're often driven by, well, hype, speculation.
Right.
They can see these massive price spikes, but they can also crash and burn just as quickly.
Yeah, it's like a sugar rush or something.
Yeah.
Exciting at first, but
Exactly. And that's what makes this, what do they call it, the PulseCereal strategy, so intriguing, I think. They seem to be trying to attract both the thrill seekers who are just jumping on the latest meme coin trend, but then also the more cautious investors who are looking for something, with a bit more staying power.
so how do they walk that tightrope? Well, the material mentions a 2% transaction fee. Is that part of this balancing act?
Could be. Let's break it down. So a 2% fee is charged on every PulseCereal transaction.
Okay.
1% of that goes to the existing holders, and the other 1% is added to that liquidity pool we were talking about.
Okay, so if I'm holding on to some cereal, I'm getting a little bonus
Mm-hmm.
every time someone buys or sells?
That's the idea. It's a way to reward those long-term holders and potentially, hopefully, mitigate some of that volatility that's, well, associated with meme coins.
Right.
Now, whether that's enough to create a stable foundation for growth, that remains to be seen.
Right, because a 2% fee could also, deter some traders if they can find similar tokens with lower fees. It's a delicate balance.
It is.
But speaking of balance, there's one more element we need to unpack here, and it's this whole Hart's Law thing tied to Pulsechain,
Right.
which honestly, it sounds a bit mystical.
It does, doesn't it? But at its core, it's really just a theory, as far as we can tell,
Okay.
about, interconnectedness within the Pulsechain ecosystem.
Okay, so remind us, what is Pulsechain exactly, and why should our listener care?
In the simplest terms, Pulsechain is a separate blockchain, like Ethereum or Bitcoin,
Okay.
but it aims to be, well, faster and more scalable.
So faster transactions, lower fees, all that.
In theory, yes. Now, Hart's Law suggests that cryptocurrencies within the same ecosystem, especially those paired together for trading, they tend to rise and fall in value together.
So they're linked, like breakfast buddies.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. The idea is that their fates are intertwined, due to shared liquidity, trading pairs, things like that.
Interesting.
Now, whether this holds true universally, that's debatable. I mean, it's a relatively new concept. We'd need more data, more historical analysis to see if it's really a reliable indicator for future performance.
So it's a theory, not a guarantee.
Exactly.
But PulseCereal seems to be betting on it.
They do seem to be, which is why understanding the dynamics of Pulsechain and Hart's Law, well, it's crucial if you're considering investing in Cereal. What's particularly interesting is that.
Okay, so Hart's Law is still theoretical.
Yeah.
But if it does hold up, could give PulseCereal a serious boost, right? Especially if those other Pulsechain cryptocurrencies are doing well.
Exactly, yeah. It's all about that interconnected growth. And we did a little digging, and there is some early evidence, suggesting this correlation might actually exist within Pulsechain. A few of the, I guess, top-performing tokens on the network, they have shown somewhat synchronized price movements.
Interesting.
Especially those that are frequently traded as pair.
So it's like if your breakfast buddy gets super popular, you might get invited to more parties too, just by association.
There you go. And in the crypto world, more parties mean more trading activity, more visibility,
Right.
and potentially more value.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the other side of the coin? The source material is all about the potential upsides.
Mm.
But are there any red flags here? Anything investors should be aware of?
Absolutely. With any investment, really, but especially in the world of cryptocurrency, due diligence is key. With PulseCereal, that meme coin element, while potentially very powerful, it also comes with, let's say, some inherent risks.
Because what's trendy today could be yesterday's news tomorrow.
Exactly. Meme coins, they often experience these, well, dramatic boom and bust cycles. One day they're the talk of the town, and the next they've vanished, faster than a box of donuts on a Monday morning.
So how can investors tell if a meme coin has, actual staying power?
That's the question, isn't it? I would say look beyond the memes. Look beyond just the marketing hype.
Okay.
What problem is this cryptocurrency solving? What makes it unique? Really, in a sea of other tokens out there, does it have a strong community, or is it just driven by, well, hype?
So it's not enough to just be the life of the breakfast table. You got to bring something more to the table.
Exactly. You got to bring the substance. And that's where, a deep dive like this can be so valuable. By understanding the underlying technology, the tokenomics, the potential risks, well, you can make more informed decisions.
Don't just buy the cereal because the box looks cool, right? Read the ingredients list.
Yeah.
Check the nutritional information.
Exactly. Do your research. In the case of PulseCereal, that means diving deeper into Pulsechain itself.
Right.
Researching the team behind the project and understanding their long-term vision.
And maybe even, trying some other cereals, so to speak.
Exactly.
Comparing PulseCereal to other cryptocurrencies out there,
Mm.
both, meme-based and those with a bit more history behind them.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Knowledge is power, my friend.
It's true, especially in a market as dynamic and as ever-evolving as cryptocurrency.
For sure.
So where does that leave us? It sounds like PulseCereal has some, interesting features, especially with this whole Hart's Law theory.
Right.
but it's not a guaranteed win, not by any means.
It's a speculative investment, as many new cryptocurrencies are.
Yeah.
It has the potential for, well, high rewards, but also high risks.
Right.
And that's something every investor needs to be, I think, comfortable with before, taking the plunge.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it, our deep dive on PulseCereal, a meme coin trying to break the mold. Will it succeed? Who knows? Only time will tell. But hopefully, you now have the knowledge to decide if it's something you want to, well, explore further.
And if you do choose to explore, do so responsibly.
Yes.
Start small, diversify your portfolio, and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Wise words. Until next time, everyone, happy investing.